Welcome back, everyone, to another segment of the MCR Mac and Me. My name's TJ. In this segment, we're going to talk about Rumble in the Bronx. And I don't mean the Jackie Chan movie either.
Right.
Play on words. A few days ago, he decided to have a rally in the Bronx. At first, they thought maybe only 5,000 at most was going to show up.
Right.
AOC was doing a rain dance prayer because I guess it was raining in the morning. I don't know if you call it divine providence, but the rain stopped, giving her prayer for it to continue, you know? So,
I thought they were in love with diversity of ideas.
yeah.
As long
At
as
the
they're
end
there.
of at the end of the day, they estimated 25 to 30,000 people showed up. They panned the crowd at the rally, and then they also panned the line of crowd that couldn't get into the rally. As to the exact count, I don't know, but it's not entirely certain how many were there, but clearly more showed up than we'll say the opposing team hoped for. You know, the crowd contained a fair number of ethnic minorities. We'll say more than one. Black, Latino, and they were Trump supporters, and they were saying some things, and CNN didn't like it, and AOC didn't like it, and the New York governor didn't like it. In fact,
I expect the Democrats not to like it, Kathy Hochul and that moron AOC. But why does CNN, since they're so fair about everything, they're so objective, and they're just doing journalism, real journalism, why would they be upset?
Yeah, well, because they're in the tank for the Dems. You mentioned Kathy Hochul. She referenced those in attendance as clowns. So,
well, and those clowns remember that on election day.
She's calling the citizens of her own state clowns. Okay, yeah. So and AOC, let's see, AOC. I got a quote here from her. AOC said, "This is an attempt to trick some of our folks here." So she's kind of, in other words, she's saying, they're not smart enough to see through Trump's blah, 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 blah.
Well, in addition to being clowns, they must be fools also.
And while I don't have the exact quote here, she was accusing Trump of using this particular rally to help cover his legal fees for his court case that kind of wrapped up last week. A little off topic. They got to do closing remarks next week, but the prosecuting attorney has they're done with their witnesses. The defense only brought in one witness, and the one witness was the attorney of Michael Cohen, and basically just established that he's a liar and he was lying to you.
Right.
But we're off topic here. But
he's a convicted perjurer, which is a liar.
Yeah. The interesting thing about this rally, I do believe at the end of the day, Biden's still going to carry New York. But if this trend continues, Trump's not that far from putting New York into play.
Yeah, they're not going to let that happen. New York City by itself is not going to, Buffalo, other places they're not going to let that happen.
Well, you swerved into one of my points here, which is cool. 8 counties in the state of New York are Democrat. The rest are Republican. And I think the Republican number is like 20 something. We'll say. I looked at a map and I've talked about this a little bit before in segments past, where New York, Pennsylvania, it's kind of similar to Michigan in that you've got a sea of red with pockets of blue, yet the pockets of blue have the numeric superiority. And that is the
you can
case.
separate those by givers and takers.
Yeah,
People who go and work and produce things for the other people to get.
Yeah, and but there's only the latest news report I read was only 8 counties right now in New York are under Democrat control. Yet they have the numeric superiority. In 2020, Biden beat Trump by 23% in the state of New York. Right now, the poll, anyone can say anything in a poll, but right now, the current New York State poll has Biden by 8%. So
yeah, that's way tighter than it should be.
Yeah. So if that poll holds, Biden's lost like over 50% of his support since 2020 in the state of New York alone.
He's also, according to a stat I heard from Megyn Kelly on her show, and Megyn Kelly's a lawyer. She's, think what you will of her. She's pretty sharp, and she says that the Hispanic vote is a tie now, which is disastrous for the Democrats as well.
Yes, and I'll tell you right now, if Trump got 20% or more of the black vote, that wouldn't surprise me.
Well, in that same comment, she said the blacks were at about 12%, which would be about the same as he got last time. But I don't believe that for a minute. I from what I see everywhere from black people, they've had it with Biden and his comments, his racial comments about how they have to work 10 times harder than everyone else, and everything has to be given to them, otherwise they can't succeed. Those numbers are going to be, I think, closer to 20%. 16 to 20% would be my guess.
Well, I and I know 20% is wishful thinking, but if he hit 20%, I wouldn't be surprised.
No, I wouldn't be either. And you know what? That would be a great day in America if that happened.
Not that it's my cup of tea, but Trump had rappers showing up at his rally in his support. What's rattling the Democrats' cage a little bit is how many people are saying, "I'm a Democrat and I'm voting Republican now."
Well, a lot of in this same, I hate to keep going back to Megyn Kelly because that's another show, and she's very good at it, of course. But she also said that a great number of Democrats have decided that they were independents now and are going to vote for Trump.
Dan Bongino calls that what does he call that? Like a +2. In other words, if you have someone who doesn't vote and he votes Republican, that's like a +1. But if you have a Democrat who says, "I voted Democrat, but now I'm voting Republican," it's almost like a +2.
Right, I get it.
Yep. And Dan Bongino seems to think the +2s are growing.
Yes.
In any event, and some of what I'm saying is wishful thinking here, but people in Chicago were being interviewed, and now there's some people asking Trump to come to Chicago and do the same thing. So I guess we'll wait and see whether or not that happens. But I am kind of hoping that what happened in the Bronx spreads like wildfire.
I do too.
Yes, wishful thinking, but who would have predicted the Bronx rally that he had last week? Or
that he could have one at all.
That he could have one at all. And I got to tell you, 3-4 times at least the amount of people showed up than what they thought, suspected. And like I said, AOC praying for rain. Because I guess
they have to pray for rain because you can't sell their ideas. Yeah. Who's going to go out there and say, "Hey, we want to tax you at 90%. We want to leave you defenseless against criminals. We're going to flood the country with people who have never been here before, and we're going to let them vote, and we're going to take care of them and not you." You can't run on that.
Yeah. So And that's all I got for this segment. I just hope this. I hope this spreads like wildfire, man.
Yeah.
So we'll call this one a wrap. Thanks everyone for your support, and we'll catch you in the next segment. As always, be safe, watch your six, and don't tread on me.